The most ordinary tasks become extraordinary when you bring your full presence to them, turning resistance into peace. And that is the thought for today. Welcome to 7 Good Minutes. I'm Clyde Lee Dennis. Thanks for joining me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. In today's episode of 7 Good Minutes, we talk about turning chores into mindful moments and finding peace in daily tasks. Enjoy. There's a peculiar resistance we all feel when facing the mundane tasks that fill our days. The dishes waiting in the sink, the laundry piling up, the floors that need sweeping. We treat these moments as interruptions to our real lives, obstacles between us and what we actually want to be doing. But what if the opposite were true? What if these ordinary chores could become some of the most grounding, peaceful moments of your day? By the end of this episode, you'll understand how to transform routine tasks into mindful practices and discover why the most ordinary moments often hold the greatest potential for presence and peace. We've been taught to rush through chores, to get them done so we can move on to something more important. But this mindset creates a constant undercurrent of resistance in our lives. We're always trying to escape the present moment, always waiting for something better to begin. And in doing so, we miss the quiet gifts that these simple tasks offer. Mindfulness isn't something that only happens on meditation cushions or during yoga classes. It's available to you right now, in this moment, in whatever you're doing. And chores, with their repetitive, physical nature, are actually perfect vehicles for developing deeper presence. Consider washing dishes. Most of us approach this task with a kind of grim determination, our minds already somewhere else, our bodies going through the motions. But what if you brought your full attention to the experience? Feel the warmth of the water on your hands. Notice the texture of the soap, the way it creates bubbles. Listen to the sound of water running, dishes clinking. Smell the scent of the soap or the residue of the meal you just shared. When you engage all your senses in a simple task like washing dishes, something remarkable happens. Your mind, which might have been churning with worries or planning or regrets, suddenly has nowhere to go but here. The present moment becomes so rich with sensory information that there's no room for anxious thoughts. This is the gift of chores. They anchor you in your body, in the physical world, in the now. They interrupt the constant mental chatter that so many of us live with. They offer a kind of meditation that doesn't require you to sit still or clear your mind. You're simply doing, fully present with what you're doing. Laundry becomes a practice in care. As you fold each piece of clothing, you're caring for the things that protect your body. You're creating order from chaos. There's something deeply satisfying about this, something that connects you to generations of people who have done this same task with their hands. Sweeping or vacuuming becomes a practice in rhythm and movement. Your body finds a natural pace, a flow. Your mind can settle into this rhythm. There's a meditative quality to the repetitive motion, to watching the space gradually become cleaner, more ordered. Cooking, which we often think of as separate from chores, is perhaps the most obvious opportunity for mindfulness. Chopping vegetables, stirring a pot, tasting and adjusting flavors. These are all invitations to be present, to engage your senses, to participate in the ancient act of nourishing yourself and others. The key is shifting your perspective. Instead of seeing chores as obstacles to your real life, you can see them as part of your real life. They're not interruptions. They're not distractions. They're opportunities to practice presence, to care for your space and your body, to slow down and reconnect with the physical world. This shift doesn't require you to suddenly love doing chores. You don't need to pretend that washing dishes is your favorite activity, but you can change your relationship with the task. You can move from resistance and resentment to acceptance and even appreciation. When you approach chores with mindfulness, you also notice something else. They become less burdensome, not because the task itself has changed, but because you're no longer fighting against it. You're no longer wishing you were somewhere else. You're here, doing this, and there's a kind of peace in that acceptance. Start with one chore today. Choose something you do regularly, something that usually feels like a burden. As you do it, bring your full attention to the physical sensations, the sounds, the smells. Notice what happens when you stop resisting and start being present. You might discover that these ordinary moments, these tasks you've been trying to escape, are actually some of the most peaceful, grounding experiences available to you. You might find that by transforming your relationship with chores, you're transforming your relationship with your entire life. That does it for today's episode of 7 Good Minutes. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on the platform you're listening on. Until next time, let's be civil to one another out there. Thanks for listening.